Hello, Claire Pearson here, personal trainer and behavior change specialist. What you are about to see is a sneak peek into a live training held inside a coaching clinic of our Transformation Academy weight loss and wellness program. So if you want to lose weight and learn how to keep that weight off forever, consider booking a consultation. There's a button somewhere around this video. On that consultation, myself or my team will be able to hear your goals, your history. We'll be able to give you an action plan of the best steps to take to reach those goals. And if it seems like a fit, we'll walk you through what it's like to work with us inside of the Transformation Academy program. So book a consultation, and I hope you enjoy this free training.
One, I want to talk to you about why resolutions fail. And we don't need to call them just resolutions. We could just call them goals from any time of year. That's all it is a day that we all decide we're going to set a goal. It's important to know kind of some of the main reasons I think that they fail, so that you can set yourself up. If you're aware in advance of, why a goal fails, then we can create a plan to, when that happens, what we're going to do different, and then kind of how habits are created. And we're going to take an opportunity here to think of a habit that you would like to change, and work on a method to change it with a cue and a reward. So there's probably a few reasons resolutions fail. Actually, likely the number one reason is that it's too much. So in our head, we're going, oh my gosh, I have so far to go. It is too much. And too much can be quantitative, like I have 80 pounds to lose. That just feels huge to me. It could be lifestyle, like it's going to be so different from where I'm at right now to not go to the drive-through ever and to not have that soda ever, like if you're changing something that just feels like, oh, that's big, you will not ever, you won't. You good luck. It's not happening because your brain goes into overwhelm. The focus is too far out and you just implode on yourself. It's too much change at once is what it is. And that's not a fault of you. That's our brain. Nobody wakes up and changes something giant overnight. And if we continue to focus on the giant goal, you will not get there. So what's the solution? I'm sure somebody here knows it.
Break it down into smaller pieces.
Very good. Break it down. That's the number one reason resolutions fail, because we get so grandiose in the goal. And we should know what the big outcome is. 100 pounds gone. You should know. But as soon as you know what the big goal is, you just set it aside. You just put it down and you come up with the tiny goal. And you do that by looking at where your behavior is at right now. If your goal is 100 pounds and you have never, and you don't even own workout shoes, right? Let alone worked out. You don't even own the shoes. Maybe the goal is just, I'm going to go to the store and buy the shoes, right? You have to bring it back that far so that you feel accomplished, and you build confidence and you build momentum as you start checking off the attainment of the small goals. If your goal is only, I got to get to the store and buy those running shoes, and you have a next goal set up after that, you're not just going to be like, my goal is to buy running shoes. Nope. You have goal one, I'm going to buy running shoes. After I do that, I'm going to set my alarm for 10 minutes earlier and actually wake up. After I do that, I'm going to put on those running shoes and I'm going to walk around the block. After I do that, right? I just set 3 goals. I know they seem small and ridiculous, but are they achievable? Yeah. Do you feel better about the idea of, oh, my goal is just, I need to go to the running store and buy shoes? Doesn't that feel more achievable than I got to lose 100 pounds? Yeah. So you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And you already know in advance what the next thing is you're going to do. So that's a big part of it too. Please don't hear that, oh, all I have to do is like set a really small goal and achieve it. You need to know the next one. So as soon as you get that, you got the next one, and you build momentum in that way. And oh my gosh, you quickly build confidence and belief in your ability to achieve. And that's really what you need. You need the momentum. You need the daily belief. So many people say that they stop their workout plan or their nutrition plan because they're not seeing any results. What are they really saying? They're saying, I'm not seeing proof that this is working, so I don't believe that it's going to do anything, so I'm out. It's belief. If you just believed anyway, you would keep doing it, right? So you need to create this belief in yourself that you can and you will by demonstrating that with really small behaviors. Another really big reason I think that resolutions or goals in general fail is that kind of the same thing, in that when something is really big, a lot of change at once, it's very difficult to stick to the change in routine. Not just with exercise or making time to eat well, but anytime we want to change a behavior, there will be a change in our normal daily set of actions, right? We're going to have to physically do something different, even if the goal is like to floss. There's a physical action that has to be executed. And most people in their goal setting process become very rigid in their idea of how they're going to get it done. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to be working out by 5:30. I'm going to be in the shower by 6:30. And then I'm going to be at work at 7. And so if they don't wake up on time, the brain goes, I already messed up. Why bother? Right? So I'm sure we've all heard SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, results oriented, and time-based. That's in the curriculum as well. Yes, it's really important to have that specificity. Absolutely, we need specificity. But on the other side of that, we need flexibility. We need a backup plan. We need to know that if the goal is to wake up at 5 a.m. and I don't do it, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and do less. I'm going to wake up at 5:45 and do less. We need the flexibility in our mindset to give ourselves the grace to have a backup plan versus giving up. So many people give up because they don't meet the specificity of what they set for themselves. So be sure, when we're setting up new ideas of what we want to achieve, that you have the flexibility of either creating a backup plan. If you have a goal that is habit-based, routine-based, that you have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, right? That no matter what, there's some version of that change of action that you're going to work towards. And then lastly, I mean, this has to be the biggest reason why people don't achieve their goals. Has to be. They have a day where they totally blow the plan. That's it. That's it. The goal is to, eat better. And they have a day where all they do is eat cake and chips and cookies, and that's it. They stop. They put so much weight on the fact that there was a failure that that's it. Oh, I messed up. I guess that goal's not for me. I guess I can't do that. Successful people know you just wake up the next day and do it again. You just try it again. So in our goals, there has to be okay, I'm going to lose 100 pounds, but I'm going to mess up a whole bunch along the way. Why don't you just make it a goal that you're going to mess up to? And then you can, when you mess up, you'd be like, oh, I achieved my goal of messing up. You're going to. And the only thing that has to happen is that you have to keep going. You simply get up and go again. Nobody just wakes up, sets a goal, and then their behavior is different every single day from there on out into eternity. Nobody, but you think everyone else is doing that except for you, and something's wrong with you that you're not doing that too. Just change that. Just change that thought to a total awareness and total acceptance that every single person makes mistakes, messes up, has failures, doesn't do what they said that they were going to or what they wanted to do in the process of making change. The people who successfully make the change are the people that keep going anyway. That's it. Now, if you keep messing up, what do you do then? You know, obviously then if you mess up one day and you eat way too much, fine, get up. But if you wake up the next day and you eat way too much again, right? You know, if breakfast is always fine, but then by the end of every day, you're totally a mess again. Now we have ourselves a problem. Now we need to look at where the breakdown is in that habit cycle. We need to look at the behavior. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to think right now together. What is the habit that you want to change, that you notice is maybe the breakdown in your setting of the goal and achieving the goal? Maybe it's, you know, every night I end up eating a giant bowl of popcorn, even though my goal is to, you know, be healthier in my food choices. And I just keep eating that giant bowl of popcorn. I don't know what's going on. I want you to just find one very specific habit that you have noticed you are doing that you know you want to stop doing. So make sure you know what that is. Write it down. I'd love to hear it if you want to share. These could be things that are really specifically tied to a behavior itself, like I don't know, like smoking, or like checking social media. Or it could be something that's more affecting like your whole life. Like I don't get enough sleep. As a habit, I'm noticing I'm not sleeping enough. Anne, would you like to share?
Yes, but I'm stuck between two. One is that over the Christmas holidays, kind of chunk of time, I got in the habit of eating a Quest treat every day, but that's not part of my diet plan. So I've kind of fallen off my diet plan in that way. So one is to stop eating the treat each day. And the other is problem solving around, I had developed the habit of exercising first thing in the morning. And then I hit a morning where I slept too late and it wasn't possible. And then I said, well, that's okay, because I can do it later in the day. Well, finally the day ended and I didn't get it done. So I want to stop procrastinating with the exercise. I think the first one, the stop eating the treat each day, is an easier one for what you're talking about right now, but I don't know.
Well, which one seems more detrimental to you over the long haul if you continue this?
The procrastinating exercise, because
Yeah.
the eating the treat I'm going to use tapping on, and that's how I'm going to tackle that.
Yeah. So let's do that one then.
Okay, the procrastinating exercise.
Yep. Marty, what do you have?
Mine is eating at night.
Great. Sherry, what do you have?
Mine is, once I see progress, backing off of the plan. Like, I don't know if I'm just afraid to be seen. I don't know if I feel like, oh, I did all that hard work, now using food as a reward, maybe. I'm
Yeah,
not sure why I stop myself.
I don't know if that's specific.
Yeah,
Let's kind of talk that through. So, because that's very general. Like I have a habit of stopping the plan I'm following. That
yeah,
like if we don't know the reason for the stopping, that's a hard one. I don't know that that's a habit, actually,
right.
so much as I mean, there's a lot there. I don't think that that's really a habit. I mean, it's a pattern in your life. I get that for sure.
Right.
I think that that's really based so much more on thought and emotional statuses versus habits are things that you end up doing almost without thinking about them. They just happen. And you're
Right.
just kind of like, why am I doing this? I said I didn't want to, and here I am again doing that thing. What is that thing?
Well, maybe it would be for me using food as more of a reward.
Food. Okay, so the
versus-
habit is
Yes,
overeating. The habit
I would say
is
so. Yeah.
um
Like, oh, I've lost 10
eating.
pounds. Now we can go for pizza. You know?
Okay, so
I-
the habit is yeah, just food is a treat. Just food.
Yeah.
The habit is eating the wrong stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a good habit of that.
And so, we habits, everything we do is habit. Literally. So if you really broke it down, we have a habit for every frame of our life. So what that is that your subconscious builds these programs of behaviors so that you don't have to think about things and relearn things over and over. Right. So, brushing your teeth. You have a habit of the way in which you reach for your toothbrush, you put the toothpaste on it, maybe you turn the water on and get your toothbrush wet before toothpaste, maybe it's after toothpaste. You have a very specific behavior setup of exactly how you brush your teeth. And you can do it without thinking about it. You can be talking to somebody else, you can be thinking about something else, and you will still execute that behavior in exactly the same way every single night, no thought needed. And we do that all day long with a million different things so that we don't have to think so much. It's your brain's preservation system. One of your brain's jobs is efficiency. What efficiency means in psychology and neuroscience is condensing large amounts of information to make things easy, because learning takes energy in the brain. Your brain does not want to expend energy. Every time it learns something new, it has to think about doing something in a different way. There's way more energy being utilized. So as soon as it kind of knows the way that something is done, it creates this learned program for it, stores it in the subconscious, and then it's easy. It doesn't have to think anymore. Way less energy is expended. And so habits are those kinds of things, Sherry, where you're just the autopilot behaviors. How many times have you driven somewhere and you don't know how you got there? It's autopilot. It's no thought needed. After I moved, I kept driving to my old house. That's scary. Where's my brain when I'm driving, right? But those are just deeply ingrained. You don't have to think about it. Your body's sort of on like memorized process, right? And those are typically the things that get us very off track with our goals in health and wellness and weight loss, because they're the things we find ourselves doing before we've even had the chance to think about it. We're not thinking about it. It's just happening kind of to us, right? So we all have one. Hopefully everyone listening to this as a replay takes the time to pause, really decide what the habit is, okay? Because what we need to know about habits, how habits are formed, why they are formed. Habits have a cue. They have a routine, which is the behavior, and they have a reward. Everything you're doing, there is a reward behind. Every single thing you do, even the things that are really awful that you don't want, you're getting something from doing it. And this is the key to making new habits. Most people, when they go about wanting to eliminate a habit, they just stop doing it, right? I'm just gonna not. However, your brain is getting something from it. So if you do not figure out what that something is and figure out another way to get that something, you're going to go back to the habit. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example. Let's say checking social media. I mean, there's a lot of that these days, right? A lot of people check social media because they feel kind of isolated in their own life, and when they check, they feel connected. And so if they just say, you know, I do this too much, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop checking social media. But now they just feel isolated. They haven't figured out another way to create a feeling of connection, so now they feel isolated. If they don't come up with a new way to create that connection that the social media was giving them, they will go right back to that because they have the need. Your brain still needs the reward. The key to habit change is creating a new reward. Does that make sense? We're going to do this together. So, habits start with a cue. Maybe it is, let's say you notice that every time you feel tired, you reach for caffeine. This is me. And you would like to drink less coffee. Okay, so the habit is I'm drinking way too much coffee. The cue, the thing that triggers the behavior, is feeling tired. As soon as the cue happens, the behavior happens. I feel tired, I go make a cup of coffee. I walk by the break room, I get the donut. I sit down at my desk, I reach for the candy bowl. I go to that recliner in front of the TV at night, all of a sudden there's a bowl of popcorn in my lap. There's a cue, there's a routine. Cue, routine, cue, routine. I want you to think about what is the cue that starts your routine. The routine is the habit you would like to break. What is happening right before that routine is triggered? Take a few minutes to think it through. We can talk it through if we need to. And is anyone struggling with this? And I'll just tell you anyway, in case there's someone listening on the replay that's struggling, break it down even further into like, what are the things I'm doing right before that other thing happens? What are the behaviors that happen immediately before it? So for me, with drinking too much coffee, which is truly becoming a problem right now, and I truly am having to execute some steps to rein it back in. When I look at what's going on before it, I come home from the gym, I make breakfast, I know I have a lot of work to do. I'm thinking about work as I'm making breakfast. I make the coffee and I sit down at the computer. I love caffeine. I get a lot of stuff done when I drink all that coffee. I love the feeling of being really amped up and like getting all my work done. It's fun, right? So I think that the cue is actually in the thinking of all of the things I would like to accomplish in work. As soon as I start thinking that way, I notice I want the coffee. It's like an achievement helper. And I can kind of come up with that just from looking at the behaviors, thinking about, what's happening and what I do before, what I do after. It does take a little bit of self-reflection to figure out, like, what is the cue for this behavior? It's not coming from nowhere. There is events leading right up to that moment where you're doing the thing. And what you got?
Well, I got that what happens is I'll stop a task. So I'm making a decision. What should I do next? Should I go exercise because I didn't do it when I woke up? Or should I do something else? The other things are way easier than the exercise, or at least in my mind. So I think the motivation is kind of taking the easier, fastest way to get things done and avoiding the difficulty of exercise or the perceived difficulty.
Okay, let's hold on to that and see how that works out with the last part of what we're going to do.
Okay.
And then we'll know whether that really connects. Marty, what do you have? Oops, you're on mute.
At night when I start relaxing.
Okay,
Is when I
very
wanna-
clear. Very clear. The cue is I feel relaxed. Yep, super clear. Sherry, what do you got?
Well, I'm struggling with my cue. I think for me is if I see a drop in the scale, or it's like I did good with workouts this week, then I almost feel like, oh, I can reward myself with food and overeat, which just, and then I feel bad about it. Then it evolves into feeling bad about it because it's like, okay, I just did all that and I just blew it. So then it starts playing with my head, I just failed and that's not what I should be doing. And I know it, but I think my habit is I think about, oh, you did good this week. And then my routine is I'm rewarding myself with food instead of maybe replacing that with, I don't know, something else.
Yeah, so and that's where we're going to go. And I think that is pretty clear. So we have a cue, we have a routine, we have a reward. Remember, the routine is the habit. So your cue, Sherry, as odd as it sounds, your cue is that you start to feel good about yourself. As soon as I feel good about myself, I have this routine of going to the fridge and getting something super decadent. The cue is the feeling of achieving, the feeling of success, the feeling of I did it. It's not a good habit cycle to be in, but I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Great. So we all understand we have the cue. Marty's cue, very clear. I feel relaxed. And then the routine is, what was your routine that happens once you feel relaxed, Marty?
I go and I get a bag of popcorn. It is the 100-calorie popcorn, but still I get a bag of popcorn every single time.
We have cue, I feel relaxed. Routine, I eat the popcorn. Reward, it's the third part of a habit. Habits only have 3 parts: cue, routine, reward. What are you getting from eating that popcorn, Marty?
I don't even know really, because sometimes it's not like, oh, it's that I taste wonderful, don't get me wrong, but like I'm not even hungry sometimes, like I don't need it. I could be doing something else, but I don't know. I just get like a done feeling almost, like like I'm good. I've done what I needed to do. I don't know really what I get from it.
You gotta put some thought into it. This is how we make sure that the habits change. It's the most important piece. We must put in the thought process to understand, what are we getting from this behavior? What are we getting from it? What is it doing for us? Even the worst of behaviors are doing something, or you wouldn't be doing them. You're getting something from every single thing you do. What are you getting from drinking all my coffee? I get an instant feeling of motivation and energy to get things done. So take a minute to think about, what am I getting? What am I getting? And the reason I said to kind of come back to it is, if from the cue that you think that it is, you're able to connect that cue to the routine, to like, what am I getting from it,
Yeah.
right? If there's
Yeah.
a logical connection. Otherwise, we should probably work on the cue.
I'm getting a sense of success.
Okay.
So I don't feel successful after I've completed my workout routine, or it's just like, okay, I did it, but it's like, okay, and now I've got to get to the rest of my day.
So good. Oh my gosh, what a good revelation. When I check things off my to-do list, I get an instant feeling of accomplishment. You did it, achievement. When I do the workout, I don't feel that way. Amazing. Great revelation. Okay, Christy, you're here. You want to add anything?
Sorry, I've been here and listening, just working. I think the reward is the treat, the food. So my problem is that it's dark at 5. I'm an outside kind of person. I come in and there's winters are horrible. So I'm like, okay, so we all sit down to watch a cartoon or a movie together.
Okay.
I have toddlers, so it's, Mom, I need juice. Mom, I need a snack. Mom, I need. And then I'm the kind of person that's like, so don't let that go to waste. They didn't eat it all. You can't let it waste. And I think the reward in the moment is the pure enjoyment or satisfaction of eating it. I love chocolate. So if there's a bowl of Hershey Kisses, I will sit and eat the whole bowl, because it's just the enjoyment, the rich flavor. Because I think at the end, there is no reward. I sit there and stew the rest of the night over the fact that I ate the damn chocolate.
Tell me, what is the specific habit that you started with?
The habit is, like you said, like the relaxation, like it's the end of the day or whatever.
That's a cue. It's the end of the day.
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
Those are, I'm
It's
sitting
cute.
on the couch with my kids. Those are all different cues. What is
Right.
the behavior?
What is the cue?
No, what's the behavior?
Oh, the behavior.
Yeah. Is it, I'm eating my kids' leftovers? Is it, I'm eating the bowl of Hershey Kisses? Those are two different behaviors, by the way.
Right. I think the habit is if the TV's on, it's like the relaxation time. It's the habit of watching a movie and having your hand to mouth disease. Just habit. I think that it's kind of like smoking. It's like you've got to have something in your hand or be busy doing something, like even when you're not conscious of doing it.
So is the habit that you would like to change that you end up snacking throughout the
Yeah.
night? Okay,
Yeah.
so the habit is snacking at
Snacking.
night.
Yeah.
Cue is, I don't think the cue is it gets dark, because if that was the cue, you would start snacking as soon as it got dark, right?
No, that's just kind of part of my habit is in the evenings,
Right,
everybody.
right. So imagine, and this is good because I'm sure lots of people are like, what is the actual cue? So think about this. If the TV was off, would you be still doing the snacking all night? Everything else is the same. You're still on the couch. Everything else is the same, just no TV.
I don't know, probably not. I probably wouldn't even
let's just assume, and this maybe will never happen, but let's just assume you're all on the couch together and instead of the TV, you're reading a story out loud. You're reading a book together as a family. Would you still
Right.
be doing all the snacking? I'm guessing yes.
I'm guessing probably.
I don't think
it's
that the TV is the cue. Right?
No,
Because I
it's
think
just,
it would happen either way.
I think it's just kind of the evening habit to sit down, turn the TV on, relax.
So you said
And
that
then-
you said some keywords there. You sit down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on the couch. And then you go,
Right.
that's the actual reward, Christy.
There's the cat.
Is no. The cue is when I sit down on the couch,
Right.
I start the snacking, and from that snacking, I get that's the
Okay.
reward.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone knows, does anyone have any question on like, what is the reward I'm getting from my behavior? Before we move on to the last step here. Sherry, Marty, you're good? Okay. So now we know what we're getting. That means we need that. We need that. Christy needs the and needs the feeling of accomplishment and success. We need the reward we're getting. That's why we're doing the thing. But the way we're going about getting the reward, that's the habit, that's the routine, is not what we want. It's not serving us. Okay?
So
It's
that would
giving
probably,
us something, and it's also not giving us what we want. Does that make
So-
sense?
that would probably make sense because when you're up and you're busy, you could literally go all day without thinking about eating. You can just stay busy, stay busy, stay busy, and go from one thing to another, and it's not even a thought.
Yes.
But-
And for you though, you sit down and then you go,
Right.
because we all need. So the answer is not to just stand up. No. You need the down. You need the relax. It's why a lot of people actually smoke. Yes, nicotine is incredibly addictive, but what comes before the addiction to the nicotine? It's a break in their day, it's time by themselves, and it's deep breathing. It's doesn't
That would
that
be-
feel better?
That would make sense because waiting tables, it seemed, I actually saw it happen. There were girls that didn't smoke, but would go to the break room and hold a cigarette because if somebody walked by and saw them with a cigarette, nobody said, well, what are you doing? But
Right.
if you were just back there, they were like, you need to get busy.
Right. So you know that the reward you're getting from the snacking behavior is really this sense of
Relax.
relaxing. So the snacking behavior is giving Christy relaxation, but we don't want the snacking behavior. So now we need to come up with what's a different way that you can get the reward that you need. What's another way to achieve that same feeling? If you have another way, you just do that instead. And a new habit comes that quickly. So again, people fail in creating that new habit because they just try to remove it. Right? Christy, if you just try to like take the snacks away, but you have no other way to feel the relaxation and the calm that you need, how quickly do you think those snacks are going to be back? Like tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
Or very soon. You can only hold your breath for so long.
Right.
You have to handle the underlying need of what you're getting from the behavior. So I want you all to think, now you know what I'm getting from the behavior. Come up with another way to get that feeling. And then let me know what you got.
I document my exercise and food and stuff at the end of the day. It's too much time between the activity of exercising and checking it off. And
Yeah.
for me to feel that sense of success or reward or accomplishment. So I'm thinking either a star chart, or I'm just starting today, bullet journaling. And maybe it's as soon as I finish exercising, and then I check it off, I mark it off, I highlight it, I do something that makes me say, yeah, I accomplished that.
I think so too. The time that you're waiting to allow yourself that sense of achievement, and you know, you're very analytical, you like the checking off and the tracking, but it's so far away that it's not providing any sense of accomplishment for you in that moment. I
Mhm.
actually think we should take that even a step further. And I love the idea of star charts, you guys. Sticker charts work for children for a reason. It's a visual cue of
Yeah.
building the behavior pattern. It's so exciting to a kid when they get that next sticker because it's a dopamine reward in their brain. It's a motivational cue that gives your brain a literal hit of dopamine, which is like focus and attention and more reward. I think, Anne, you should give yourself the star when you start the workout.
Ooh.
Doesn't that feel good? All I got to do is start and I
Start
get
the
to check it off my
workout.
list, right? I mean, why wait till it's over? You're done with
Yeah.
it. Check it off.
And I think I should hang the star chart up. So I exercise in the bedroom. I don't know if that's okay, but that is the space that we have available for exercise. So I think hanging it up in there
Mhm.
would be awesome, because then I see it every day. I see, you know, all these stars.
Yeah, totally. I think that's really great. And if you wanted to take that even a step further in terms of like accomplishment and achievement, maybe you set up some longer parameters of like, if I get 4 stars in a row, then I'm going to, you know, fill in the blank with a reward that is a nice non-food related
Yeah.
reward. Yeah. And really build that sense of achievement through the model. I like that. Okay, who else has a different routine that can give them the reward that they need? Marty, what'd you figure out?
I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm struggling here, but all I can think is like, maybe what Anne said, I need to maybe journal then. I do journaling and stuff, but maybe that's when I should do it, is at night.
Okay, what are you getting from this snacking? I think it's really the same as Christy. It's kind of why most people snack in the evening.
Something to do.
The
Maybe
relaxation.
I'm bored, relaxing.
Oh, maybe. Are you without your kids for the first time in
Yes.
a while? Too?
Yes. Yeah.
You're bored.
So bored.
Yeah. Okay. So you sit down and you're like, I'm just sitting here. And so I'm gonna eat something so that I have kind of like a task almost.
There you go. Yeah. Because I
Okay.
don't even watch TV all that much, to be honest with you. I really
Sometimes
don't.
it's a background noise, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So would it be something rewarding like some people like to, I don't know, crochet or cross stitch or knit, or maybe like braid, like here there's always something you can do like braiding reins or something for.
I do think that is the right track for Marty. Yes, it's the reward is really just that you're occupied. Quite honestly, you're not really hungry. It's not the same as Christy, where you're like, oh, this sense of like peace and calm when you just sit down. You know, that's not what's going on. It's just you're occupied, right? So the reward is
Yeah.
that you're doing something. So I think your first step in figuring out a new reward is you need to figure out what else you'd like to do. Like Christy said, if it is just crocheting or reading a book or learning a new skill or learning a new language or getting out of the house to go to a dance lesson or a rock climbing gym, or like this is a really interesting time for you and for anyone. You don't have to get divorced, actually. Let's be very clear. You don't need to get divorced to learn who you are and, create the things you really want to do in your life. It's just when you do get divorced, there's more opportunity for it, right? But we all should take a moment to think, what are the things we would like to learn and explore and put more energy and effort into, because the reality is one day for all of us, the kids are going to be gone, the careers gonna kind of be over, and we're gonna be left with like, okay, who are we? What do we enjoy? What do we want to do with our time? This would be a great time for you to find some other things to do. Food does not, like a lot of people eat because they're bored. Food is not an activity. Eating is not an activity.
Like one of my favorite things lately is to get in an uncomfortable situation. I know that sounds stupid, but I've really been focusing on trying to like get comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense, because
Great.
I'm really working on me lately. But so that's like my big thing, what I do during the day. And I don't feel like I want to do that at night, obviously,
Yeah, because you do need like relaxing and
I need
downtime.
to relax.
You need other things. So maybe like if you don't want to be out and doing, then maybe I don't know, you got to decide what kinds of things fill that cup for you, whether it's reading a book, listening to music, playing an instrument, taking a bath, doing your nails. You need a different behavior that can fill that.
I'm writing a book. I write all the time. So it's like, I don't want to write at night.
Right, that
anymore.
can feel like,
yeah.
No, I don't think that'll do it. But
Yeah.
you need something.
I really think you need to pick up like a hobby. And, I just use like the knitting or crocheting as an example. But I mean, I really think that something that keeps your mind and your hands busy and you can see a product or of your time afterwards.
I
Like-
agree. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I can see it being made or see my effort.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good research and proven correlation in the crafting gives you that sense of unwinding, the downtime, and it occupies your hands and it occupies your mind from the boredom. So, as funny as that sounds, like we could make a weight loss program just called like Knit at Night. You can do that instead, right? You just need something else to go in there. Yeah. So one time my boyfriend and I had like a very long laughing cycle. I don't remember what happened, but you know those moments where you just look at another person and you just can't even look at them. And we were like an hour and a half in and my stomach hurt so bad and I was like sweaty and we just could not stop. And he owns a gym. He's a fitness professional as well. And so we Googled how many calories have we burned in this hour and a half. Turns out that laughing burns as many calories as exercise. And so we came up with this weight loss program called Laugh and Lose, where all you have to do is watch comedy all night long and you will lose weight.
I love that.
So here's our new program. Watch comedy and knit. You're welcome.
There you go. You're welcome.
Anyways, Sherry, what do you got?
So when I feel achieved, apparently I think my reward is, well, they call it comfort food for a reason. So I think it's the comfort, not being accountable and taking a break and stepping away from the stressors of the week. So I don't know, maybe I think what I should do is I'm a boring eater, actually. You know, I'll make one thing and I'm fine eating that for a couple of days until it's gone. And then I'll meal plan something else. So maybe trying new foods and getting some new recipes and try to get excited about trying new things that are better for me health-wise versus bad choices and reverting backwards.
Guys, do you think that that's going to do it when Sherry steps on the scale and she sees that 10 pounds are gone and she feels so amazing about herself? I don't think that.
That's like time for a new dress, you know, or a
Yes,
new
exactly.
or a new piece of jewelry, or a new you know, going out and doing something that you really enjoy, or you know, maybe if you like to connect with other people, that's, you know, when you call. I mean, maybe you have a bragging partner. We should have bragging buddies.
That's a fun
It's
idea.
like, or it's celebration buddies instead of
Yeah.
bragging buddies.
I like bragging
but-
buddies. That's fun. And Anne is exactly right, Sherry. What you're getting from the behavior of treating yourself when you feel successful, right? You're giving yourself a reward. Every time you feel good about yourself, you go and eat something good. You have a very strong correlation of food as reward, and unhealthy food is like the decadent, oh no, you shouldn't, and therefore really saved for the special occasion of when you've achieved, then you've earned this unhealthy food. Underneath all that is we need to shift how you think about food, right? That there's this like exclusive, reserved, special occasion food, and then there's, I think you're on to something is what I'm saying with changing out. So food's not like this boring slave kind of thing. You'll never succeed over the long haul that way. It's great when you're a boring eater because it is easy to follow the plan when you just like eat the same thing every day. But if you're not actually enjoying your food as you go on the daily, then yes, the good tasting food is totally like, it becomes even more gripping, right? Because you don't have it all the time. So enjoying your food as you go is really important. I don't think that's what's going on here though. It's not like you see the scale change, you feel really accomplished, and then you're like, oh, I need to enjoy my food more. No, it's what Anne said. It's you want to reward yourself. You want to give yourself back some praise and some accolades for achieving something, which is great. We just need to stop using food as a reward and replace it with how else can you start to feel the sense of getting a reward for what you've done. What else can you give back to yourself? And it doesn't have to be buying something. It can be time. You know, like when you're thinking about gifts for other people, there's like time-based gifts, there's experience-based gifts, there's material gifts. It's the same things to give back to yourself. You know, maybe it's every time I feel that sense of accomplishment about following my nutrition plan for a month, I'm going to give myself a pedicure or a couple hours away from the family in the mountains by myself. I mean, to me, that would be amazing. So like, you have to figure out what else is going to feel like a reward for a job well done. But part of that, I really want to be clear, because a lot of people are in the same position as you, Sherry, where food is the reward, right? A part of that absolutely is because your mindset around food the rest of the time is a bit off. You're still looking at like diet food or restriction, or like, I have to do it this way. And so eventually I kind of want to do it this way. If you can really work to make your food more fun and enjoyable to eat on the daily, I think you will also detach a little bit from the need to have food as a reward. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So everyone feels like they now have an understanding of next time Q comes, I will do blank routine instead so that I still get blank reward. You could write that sentence. Let's just write that sentence. Next time, Q, I will routine so that I feel reward. The only thing you're changing is the routine. The cue and the reward stay the same. And let's hear it.
Next time I begin my exercise, I will start by adding a star to my chart so that I feel successful.
That sounds fun. Sounds like a much better way to get that need met.
As I was writing it, I was thinking that this is going to make the exercise itself more enjoyable.
Yeah, you're
It
allowing
just sets me
yourself to-
myself up for a different mindset instead of, oh, this is hard. Oh, this is a celebration. Oh, this is, I don't know.
This is an achievement.
Yeah,
Every time you exercise, it is an achievement. It already was. You just weren't allowing yourself to go there, and the star makes it more of a palpable, concrete experience for you of achievement.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Marty, what you got?
So this one doesn't feel good to me though. I don't know. I think I might actually really try to sew. I really might.
Okay.
But this is what I have. Next time I start relaxing, I will watch a TED Talk so it gives me something to do. Yeah, I think that's true. I totally think it's true, but I don't think that's what I need. I think I need to actually find something to do, like a hobby, a new hobby for me.
Yeah. So I feel occupied. So I feel stimulated. So I feel like
Yep.
that's what the food is doing. It's providing a
Yep.
stimulation.
Stimulation.
Find another way to find that stimulation.
Yep.
And I think watching anything, even a TED Talk, is a bit passive in the mind to be a stimulating activity that's going to fulfill that need for you.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Yeah.
watching something very complex that you really have to think about. But even then, I don't know. Keep thinking
The
about
only ones I can think of is the ones about the mind where they talk about the brain.
I love those.
That makes me think deep, deep, deep. But other than that, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So you need like an actual activity to replace, because for you, food is an activity.
Yeah.
Right. For Sherry,
It
it's
is.
a reward. For you, it's an activity. It's interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time, that's the two reasons why we overeat. It's an activity or a reward.
Yeah.
Overeat or just snack randomly. Activity, reward. Sherry, what you got?
Sorry, forgot I was muted. I don't know. I'm still kind of struggling with mine. I put next time I feel achieved, I will accept the achievement,
Okay.
the hard work I've put in, take a deep breath, and discover a reward, whether it be, I've been wanting to go for a pedicure lately, so that's on the list. But
I think
reward myself some, I don't know.
you need a list. And
I
what
do
you
need
got?
a list.
You need a reward list, or
Yeah.
like a jar of like ideas of fun things that Sherry feels like reward her, and you get to pick something out of the jar and read it and go do it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Anne, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the list, but it just occurred to me, picking something out of a jar also makes your brain kind of predict, oh, I wonder what this is going to be, and it activates all of that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it the act of prediction and then seeing whether you're right or wrong activates all of the good stuff in your brain that makes you happy.
Yeah. You need reward. And that's we all have
And
a
you
different
deserve
set of needs.
reward.
You deserve reward, right? And this whole idea of like, people say like people overeat because they're like, oh, I deserve the chocolate because I did so good, right? And then there's a lot of fitness professionals that'll be like, you don't like, we don't deserve, we're just doing good. Like, no, we don't deserve food because food is not a reward, but we deserve something, whether it's material or simply, like you said, really allowing yourself to sit and feel the accomplishment. But I don't think you're there yet. So I think that's too abstract and you need a concrete reward right now. Just like feeling it and feeling good about yourself is not going to be enough because you're not there yet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you need like a whole bunch of things that feel exciting to maybe pull out of a jar and give to yourself as rewards when you feel accomplished. And then it's like, next time I step on the scale and I see that I've done well, I will pull out a slip from my jar to go reward myself and feel really good about my behavior.
I already have 4, so there we go.
Awesome. You just keep, and they don't have to be big. They just have to be things that feel like a reward to you.
Right.
Cool. Christy went away. She's on Blur. So hopefully that was helpful to you. You guys, this is really the only way to set resolutions / goals that actually work, is to honor the reward that you need. Don't ignore that part. We all have a need. We just need to figure out other ways to meet that need. So always keep that in mind when you find yourself doing things that you don't want to do, but you're still doing. You're doing it because you're getting something from it. And if you can figure out what that is, then you can replace the behavior with something that is more on track with your goals to give you that same feeling. And that's really the key to new habit creation. And then everything I said at the beginning of just, keeping it small, keeping it flexible in terms of how it's going to happen, and allowing yourself to have those mess ups and failures, and really start to look at the breakdown. If you're messing up a lot, just look at it as information to figure out where the breakdown is happening.
Well, if you are still here at the end of that training, then that means you need this information. It was interesting, it was helpful, it was impactful, and there's so much more where that came from. So at this point, you need to book a consultation call. The call is free. We're going to listen to your history. We're going to hear your goals, and we'll be able to show you the steps that you need to take to actually reach those goals. And if you seem like a fit, we'll walk you through step by step what the Transformation Academy program would look like for you and what it's like to work with us. So go ahead, book your consultation call. I look forward to talking to you.